So one of the things that I'm kind of moderately excited about with Season of Discovery is that it seems like the classic WoW game developers are taking a genuine stab at open world PvP. This has always been a part of the game. It's just always sucked. And so we'll see what happens here. But with that in mind, this whole level 25 kind of open world PvP setting, I main a priest, and so one of the things that makes the game really fun is that each class kind of has strengths and weaknesses. Everybody's worried about class homogenization, and I get it. Like I'm right there, but the weakness I think for the priest is mobility and crowd control. Like I can't control a fight. And so with that in mind, I'm still thinking healing, but is there a spec that has come online that might give me a little bit more control in that role? And so, of course, the first thing I think is Blackout. So what's going to happen is, it's a lot of talents, and that's usually why nobody you try to use this. I've always kind of wanted to use this, but it just seems like a lot to put into this. And I've never gone fully shadow, so take this with a grain of salt. But every shadow spell now has a 10% chance to stun your target. And that's just like a passive added bonus. So you're still going to be casting all the same spells and doing all that stuff, but everything that you do that is shadow magic is going to have this 10% chance. So think about that. Maybe hold on to that for a second. We'll just finish out this spec. So I would think you just go 5 out of 5 Blackout. You go into Improved Shadow Ward. You get a little resist, and then I guess you get more resist, and then you go Psychic Scream. Okay, so that's going to give you a little bit more control. As it is, that's the main thing a priest has to kind of control a fight. Is I can fear people, and then if I wanted to spec into it, I could go into Mind Flay. But that I need to manage my globals, right? So I don't really want to be channeling a spell. Even though it's going to slow one target, I almost feel like I would rather use that time to heal myself, shield, do a couple of things rather than just trying to slow a target down. So I'm not sold there on Mind Flay. So that's kind of and then you go in, you get Healing Focus, and then you get a little bit of resist. Fear, okay, increases your chance to resist, stun, fear, and silence effects by 6. There's a whole nother spec that you could do where you get all of this, but that's going to take you to 25, and you have Blackout. Now, the reason I think that it's possible Blackout is actually going to be strong has nothing to do with these talents. It actually has everything to do with these runes. Now, I think I'm going to continue, and again, this is just as things stand today. If you play Priest, if you're interested in this, let me know what you think, because we can hive mind this and kind of, I don't know, be more prepared not to discover in the Season of Discovery, but have it all figured out, because we don't want to discover things along the way. That would ruin the whole point of a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Okay, I'm going to go serendipity there, because as a healing role, you're going to be flash healing, flash healing, flash healing, flash. Flash heal is just, it's a bread and butter. And so you just stack that, and then you could do a big heal. Boom. Okay, so there's that. There's just nothing else in here. You can get another. Yeah, so I won't get too distracted here. I want to try to keep this as short and sweet as possible. That's where I'm going right now. You can convince me otherwise. I'm open to the debate. But here's where things get interesting with Blackout. You go into Mind Seer. Yes, this one's interesting. Okay. Causing an explosion of shadow magic around the enemy target. Okay, so not around you. And it doesn't say a range. I don't know what the range is of this thing. But I'm imagining I'm in the back. I'm healing my party. I'm trying to do whatever other things that I could do, priesty, cool ninja things. And then I have this ranged ability that would allow me to cause damage and have a 10% chance to silence anyone that hits. Now, it's not quite like a sapper charge, but you get where you're thinking here. It's like, if I can cast this at range at an enemy target, and then what does it say? All causing shadow damage Once over 5 seconds, to all enemies within 10 yards around that enemy. So if you've got a group, you just go boom, and it doesn't say, I'm like, am I missing something here? It just looks instant at this point, even if it's not. I still think that's worth it. It's got to be that's got to be something that you cast, right? That can't be just an instant thing, but there it is. So you have this ranged ability that has a 10% chance to stun anyone within 10 yards of the person that you're casting this on. I think that's worth it if you have Blackout. The other thing is this. If you're going to use Shadow Word Pain, that's going to be something you use sometimes. Like when you're in a priest, when you're a priest, obviously you're kind of sitting back and I'm supporting my team, but I'm also trying to do some offensive stuff as we go. I'm going to dispel. That can be an offensive thing. I'm going to dispel. That can be a help to my team as well. But there's going to be some of those globals that I use for Shadow Word Pain, particularly when it comes to like rogues and stuff like that. I'm going to try to pop this on some of those players. And now when I do that, it has a chance to afflict up to 2 additional nearby targets within 15 yards. So now we have this kind of AoE effect going on with our shadow spells, with some of these shadow spells. And when we attach a 10% chance to stun on top of that, I think this becomes strong. It's maybe, like, again, we're going to discover this, but like, this is not the build to end all builds. This is an idea. Is it possible that having Blackout is not just a pipe dream? That this might actually be worth it. The other thing is that trolls, if you're smart, Shadow Guard. Trolls get Shadow Guard at 20. So if you're a troll, which I plan to be, like a good troll, not like a internet troll. Now you put Shadow Guard on, and this has always been the case with Blackout. You use Blackout and Shadow Guard, but it just hasn't been that strong because there's just not a whole lot of, you don't get a whole lot of other benefit from Blackout because you're doing pain, and with Shadow Word Pain, it should be said that it has a 10% chance to proc on the initial. I think that's the way it works. It's certainly not that it does every tick of that damage over time effect. I think it's just that initial tick, unless they've changed something, and made it not proc at all, which is probably what they would have done. So you surround yourself with this, and you have this 3 charge that any range. So hunters hitting you. This is annoying when you're a priest and you've got hunters hitting you, any casters hitting you, or obviously any other sort of melee attack would have a 10% chance when Shadow Guard procs to then proc Blackout on top of that. I think that's strong. You let me know. It's not maybe the end all be all. All right, so this is like a bonus. Here's what I'm thinking too. All right, so that's Shadow Guard. That's Blackout. That's if you're going to spec into Blackout. What do you guys think about this? You go into Holy. You go all the way down here. What am I going to do? Let's see. I think I made this up earlier. Of course you did, because you're a nerd. Okay, that takes us to 25. Okay, so the only thing about going Holy would be that don't you get this like torpedo thing? Penance launches a volley of Holy Light at the target. So that could give you that's going to be a channeled spell though too. So I'm not into that necessarily, but there is something about Holy that could be strong because you have a few little offensive things that you can do every once in a while. I still think that's going to be key, is going Blackout, doing this. You let me know if you've been thinking about it and nerding out. Yeah, thanks.